Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again with another Zenless Zone Zero developers listened video. And from what I'm seeing on the screen right now, it appears that the game is going through what many consider to be its third actual relaunch. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this game has gone through about 2 relaunches already prior to version 2.5, and 2.5 is looking like the third. If you're not familiar with the timeline, they had a relaunch back in version 1.4 where they made some sweeping feature updates to the game, like removing the TVs from most of the game modes. And then in version 2.0, they had yet another relaunch where they tried and failed to expand the open world elements of the game, introduce an entirely new storyline in ZZZ's version of China, and it was just not very good. Well, the viewer numbers themselves should be able to tell you exactly how not good the update was. That was 2.0. That was 1.4. Actually, solids for 1.4. But yeah, that was 2.0, and that's been every single update afterwards. And for Yadari, the newest character release that came to Zenless Zone Zero, and I think one of the reasons why they're having such a frantic call to fix the game, Yadari's max viewership when she was released, the character from version 2.3, this Calamari Yijuan over here, Tentacle Lady, she peaked at about 3.4k viewers. And you can kind of see over here, wow, that looks almost absolutely nothing like anything we've ever seen before in regards to this game. How did the new character peak at only 3.4k when they were just coming off of 24? I don't really know, but clearly the devs know a little bit more about what might be going on. So why don't we go ahead and see all the amazing changes that they have in store? Why don't we really see if 2.5 really is the ZZZ devs listened? And let's see if this third relaunch, if the third time is the charm. Because I don't really know if Hoyoverse has the confidence to go again, to go for a fourth relaunch if this one doesn't pan out. Alright, Dev Talk, new reveals, Zenless Zone Zero. We asked the designers about the topics you care about. The devs have given us a candid response and brought some sweet improvements and innovations in this new reveal. Fairy has already helped the proxies to highlight the essential information, the important parts, right at your fingertips. Oh, they're weaving in the lore into this, something that they haven't done in a while. Let's go ahead, let's buckle down for this one. Main story's highlight. Lacking direction or aim? We got you. Version 2.4 will be a turning point in the story. As Sarah rushes towards creator and Yi Shi Huan makes his entrance. Oh, okay, I guess they're just spoiling the story if you haven't seen it yet. I didn't know this guy was a bad guy, but I guess now I do. So, we're off to a strong start. The main storyline's objectives will become clearer, and more mysteries about the depths of the Lemnian Hollow will be gradually unveiled. Alright, I don't really know what this topical line item was supposed to serve. I'm gonna pretend I didn't see this one. Narrative structure feels familiar? Characters popping up out of nowhere? We've heard you, loud and clear. Isn't that funny? Where a lot of the critique that we received for Wuthering Waves and its story was the fact that there wasn't enough random pop-ins of playable units showing up and, you know, contributing more by simply just having their presence, their limited 5-star glory on the screen. And yet ZZZ now, apparently, the game with better presentation, as some retards would say, ZZZ now is apparently getting the critiques that there's too many random character pop-ins and that they don't make sense in regards to the story. Oh, right, that was the literal critique that I made about the 2.1 story, where a bunch of random-ass units that had nothing to do with the storyline appeared out of nowhere, just to advertise that their banners were showing up at the next version. Oh, so I guess both things are wrong to do, apparently. It's wrong to not show the characters when they're not needed in Wuwa, and it's also wrong to show the characters where they're not needed in ZZZ. Okay. Plot structure optimization. The converging storyline's design structure aims to let players witness the growth of various characters, ultimately taking the stage together. In the future, we will deeply integrate narrative with gameplay to provide more diverse and exciting plot experiences. I guess that sounds like they're going to make the characters and the story feel more put together. One critique that I've made about Zenless Zone Zero specifically was the fact that it seemed like the story was made and then the characters were layered on top of it. And then you just changed minor things in the story to like weave those characters in. It seems like they've listened to that feedback, and now when they're creating the story, they're going to create the story with the characters in mind first and then make a story around them, versus starting with the story and then finding a way to fit the characters in. It is without a doubt extremely clear that the method I just said, making the story and then adding the characters in, that's what they were doing. And the story, as a result, was complete fucking dog shit. From version 2.0 all the way until now. It's just been so bad and a complete step back from the early versions of the game. Where I imagine they were actually doing more of this optimization and then they just decided to go stupid mode for 2.x and beyond. Get to know new friends early. Since version 1.6, we've been focusing on long-term character development and integration, with special attention to key characters' highlight moments. For example, in version 2.4, Yi Shungite will gradually get acquainted with the proxies, revealing untold stories. Okay, so it looks like they're just taking the Cartithia approach, with what is supposed to be the next new Void Hunter. Yes, she's supposed to be the next overpowered unit. So it looks like they're just taking the approach that Wuthering Waves did with Cartithia in version 2.2 to get you introduced to the character in the story, and then run their banner in the next version. That's 99% what's going to happen. So this is just like a confirmation of it. Hopefully she's a good character. I know a lot of people are looking forward to her, probably as one of like the only pulls that they plan on making for the foreseeable future. So hope they don't shit the bed with this one. Will our old pals be forgotten? Where'd the initial story go? Worry not. Old friends are always here. While everyone has their own social circles, they'll continue to appear in the proxies' lives and showcase new sides of themselves through the main storyline and events, like Venus's new look in version 2.0 Gravity Cinema event. Why didn't they just show a photo of that? I don't think anyone even knows what that is, and that was also in version 2.0. That was an event in version 2.0. That was like 4 fucking months ago. You're supposed to remember a random event from 4 months ago where the NPC had a different outfit? What? Anyways, initial story. The main story will have an increased relevance to the AI plotline, and Internaut will be regularly updated. I think that was a big concern for a lot of individuals. It felt like the proxy storyline was abandoned ever since you like met Yi Zhuan and started doing all this Meridian shit, and it just felt like you were like some martial arts training disciple as opposed to, I don't know, the shit that you were apparently doing in the story for the past 4 or 5 years of your life, being a proxy. Yeah, I think that part of the storyline has definitely felt completely absent since 2.x. Yeah, you literally just feel like you're on like a school adventure or training to be a kung fu master. That's like the 2 vibes that you've gotten. Now, urban evolution. New shops are finally here for real. The 404 Era Livehouse making its debuts soon along with familiar faces in front of the 6th Street Metro Station, the antique shop Boo Yan in Fail You and Me Heights will all be featured in due time. The Hot Pot restaurant will also... Okay, who cares about this shit? Like, what are these shops going to fucking do? I mean, it's like... I don't really know what this is supposed to be, because unless I know what these shops do or like what I can do in them, like why do I give a shit? Maybe like you're supposed to know and like they're keeping it a secret unless you like, I don't know, read like every disk drive in the game, like kind of like how Genshin has lore hidden behind its artifacts. I guess I don't know what I'm supposed to... I know there's like a ramen restaurant, and so is the hot pot restaurant just the same fucking thing, but like they'll have different icons. Like that's what I mean. I don't know if this is like good or bad, if it's just like extra space or if it's a good addition to... I've got no clues. I don't know how to feel about that one. All right. Version 2.5 brings more updates to Sandbox exploration. Okay, so they're expanding out on the open world a bit more significantly. New way of getting around. It'll be related to Ye Shungite's abilities. Okay. Map and gameplay integration. We'll attempt to better integrate certain monster skills with the stages and environments to enrich your gaming experience. So, like, the monsters will, like, interact with the terrain and, like, break stuff? That would be... cool. Or are they basically saying there's just going to be miasma everywhere? Are they just saying that there's going to be like miasma literally fucking everywhere because miasma's a... This is the thing. Sometimes I feel like it's really hard to give the ZZZ devs the benefit of the doubt, because I remember what these guys did when they had like a whole fucking dev talk about 2.0, said that they were going to add a bunch of great new combat mechanics to the game. They like fucking lied, bro. Like they like fucking lied. Like they said they're gonna add new shit that was gonna make like the gameplay and the fighting feel good, and then they added in fucking miasma. That's like what it, like they added in fucking miasma, and then they just made like the combat like arguably worse against every single new boss that came in. It feels so bad to fight against. It feels so bad to play against. They literally started nerfing anomaly characters because they made them too strong. And so every new boss that comes out has like 25% anomaly resistance. And so, like, you, like, can't use the archetype anymore. And, like, that's what they did to the balance of the game and the combat after, like, promising so much during this dev talk. Like, I actually needed to retract that. Like, they didn't follow through on fucking anything that they said they were gonna do here except buffing the old units. But guess what? When they try to buff Ellen, apparently that first round of buffs was so dog shit, they're buffing her again. I think that's crazy. Their first round of buffs were so fucking bad that they now have to buff her again. Is there even a point in them buffing characters? Anyways, that's why I don't really have a lot of confidence in here. The way that I'm rating this could so easily be just them adding in exploration locked behind limited units. Not gonna lie. Yeah, it's like, hey, by the way, Ye Shungite has the special ability to remove miasma. She can remove miasma from the explorative area because she's just that strong. By the way, if you don't have her, you're gonna have to, like, go grab this gadget that's really annoying to use to take care of the miasma for you. It's also gonna be, like, halfway across the map, so you're gonna have to, like, sprint there for, like, 10 seconds, go grab it, and then go sprint back for 10 seconds, and then be able to detonate the miasma. That's actually, now that I think about it, I feel like that's what's going to occur. That's why they said the new way of getting around is going to be related to Ye Shungite's abilities. Oh, fuck. Okay, well, damn, maybe I was wrong. Maybe this relaunch is going to suck dick. But that's the thing. They're so vague with what they're suggesting over here. All we can do is speculate. And guess what, guys? When it comes to Hoyoverse, you're always better off speculating pessimistically. You're always going to assume the worst when it comes to this company. And when I see shit that's like all like this cute and shit, look, they're putting in a fucking tilde. They put in a fucking tilde after this. Like, they're trying to be all cute and shit and be like, it's gonna be Ye Shungite, and it's also gonna be related to monster abilities. I'm pretty sure this is going to be some pay-to-win exploration. That's just the vibe that I'm getting over here. Again, it's a Hoyoverse game. We've already seen the track record. We've already seen how every single end game mode has become literally pay-to-win in all of their games across the past couple of updates. I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to make ZZZ's exploration pay-to-win too, just to, like, round it all out, make the entire circle complete. Okay, enhanced exploration experience. Perception techniques will have more applications. Plus, Kind Bang Boo will help you with treasure detection. With exploration side quests and new IP collectibles, it's an immersion level upgrade. Oh, dearie me. So it really looks like they're fleshing out the exploration a lot more. And I'm going to be real with you. The exploration that exists in the game is you walking around, pressing R, and then spamming the F button. And so the exploration that they released in version 2.0 of this game is some complete fucking dog ass and, like, doesn't even feel like a half fleshed out feature. It's terrible. And so when they were advertising the 2.0 exploration, they were talking about it like it was fucking sex, right? And now when we look at this over here, this doesn't inspire a lot of confidence in me because the first pass of the exploration was so damn bad. It was unbelievable. So I think anything that they add will be an improvement, but they're starting below sea level. They're currently in the negative values. The exploration is right now in its current state. It's so bad that it makes the game worse. And it makes you wonder why it's even in there in the first place. And so while the only way is genuinely, like, up, I don't think they could make it worse. It's still a net reduction to the game's enjoyment, and there's gonna have to be a lot of work done to make it a positive impact on the game's enjoyment. All right, now we got diverse game modes, keeping the positives of casual gameplay while improving on their shortcomings. Interesting. Refine and redefine, filtering out promising gameplay mechanics for future innovation. Is this a photo mode? Oh dear. Striving for excellence. Highly reviewed gameplay modes will be iteratively optimized, adding more content to deliver a consistently premium experience. Okay, so what this sounds like is they're gonna take the most well-received gameplay modes, refine them, and then potentially add them in as another new endgame mode. That's what this kind of seems like. I don't really know, but once again, this shit is so vague and so non-descriptive that it could be that, it could be a bunch of other things. So yeah, it mainly just seems like they will be listening to what people consider to be the best parts of the game. I can't really view that as a bad thing. We'll just have to see what like their first integration of it looks like. Okay. Hollow Zero is getting a massive upgrade, integrating combat and exploration to create a gameplay experience with enhanced immersion and progression loops. Venture into the Hollow, gather resources, and grow stronger. Okay, so they're basically saying that Hollow Zero is gonna get a lot better. I feel like Hollow Zero right now has kind of just been like, oh man, hasn't it been the same boss for like 5 months? You just have like the Miasma Priest, and so if you don't use Yi Zhuan, it's just like kind of a very annoying experience. Hasn't that been the state of Hollow Zero for about, yeah, like 6 or 7 months? They've had like one boss or maybe 2 bosses that they've rotated out. They added another boss. Oh, okay, so across 6 months they have 2 bosses rotating in the game mode. Yeah, so perhaps that's where the big issues kind of are. The fact that it feels like they just haven't been updating the mode at fucking all, and that it's gotten like super stale and shit. So it's great to hear that they're committing to more updates, but yeah, them just adding a new boss in 2.3 is kind of ridiculous, especially when that they had one boss rotating in for 2.0 and then they took it till 2.3 to add a second one. I don't know, that just seems a little ridiculous to me. Guys, just so you know, that's around 120 days you were fighting against the same boss every week. Yeah, that's how long 3 updates is. 2.1, 2.0, 2.1, and 2.2. All those updates combined is like 130 fucking days. So let's not be over here talking about how like, oh my gosh, what are you talking about, Sate? They added one at 2.3. That's 120 plus fucking days where they were fighting the same boss in Hollow Zero. That's wild. All right, next up, multiplayer gameplay is back and better than ever. Huh? This game had what? Core breakthrough. In multiplayer mode, players in a team can now jointly unleash the iconic chain attacks together. I'm not gonna lie. Did this game have a co-op mode, and were they not able to use chain attacks before? Or like they had it in the beta and then they removed it? Okay, well, co-op sounds good. Surely it'll be good. I just find it odd that they had to advertise that. I think everyone thought you could already do this. I feel like everyone thought that you were going to be able to do this if co-op was enabled. Like, if co-op was enabled and then chain attacks didn't work, I'd be like, what the fuck is even going on? Like what even is this shit? So, this is like Wuthering Waves advertising co-op and then saying, oh, by the way, guys, you'll have intro skills. Yes, I already expected that I was going to be able to use intro skills. Why are you telling me that I'll be able to use baseline features in the game? A little bit weird, but it's good to know that it's not going to be incomplete. I don't get that. Anyways, more features. Additional exciting mechanics will be added, making the multiplayer experience something to look forward to. Okay, are they going to be adding like a new endgame involving multiplayer? That's kind of what this seems like. I don't really know if they would do this if it was just going to be like a casual event that only shows up for one patch. But once again, vague as fuck. Absolutely no details. Let's keep going. Combat level up. Missing your favorite characters? Threshold Simulation is the solution. The new gameplay mode, Threshold Simulation, is designed to let more veteran characters shine and thrive. Wait, so is this like instead of balancing the game, they're just going to make one game mode where the old characters feel broken? What the fuck even is this? What? Do people even want that? It's like, oh yeah, by the way, in 90% of the game, your character's a piece of shit. But we've got this one new endgame. Only just this one, though. We've got this one new endgame where your dog shit unit is not going to be that dog shit. Can you just make them not dog shit everywhere? Does it only have to be this? Whatever. I'm not gonna think about it too much. My brain is gonna hurt. Worried about standard characters' power levels. Combat interactions too simple. Version 2.5 brings enhanced optimization. Okay, maybe this is where they're going to be addressing some of the issues. Version 2.5 will feature specific power-ups for standard characters. Whoa! I guess we'll just have to see how strong those power-ups are. Because you want to know what, ladies and gentlemen? Unfortunately, ZZZ has already shit the bed when it comes to buffs. Y'all remember Ellen's buffs? Yeah, I don't either, because nobody uses the character after her buffs because they were dog shit. And so, the natural assumption that's going to be had because of ZZZ's past is that the first pass that they'll make on buffing a unit will be terrible. And then it'll be so bad that you have to assume that they'll need to be rebuffed in the future. And so I don't really even know the amount of confidence or how good you can even consider them buffing older units when every single time they do it, it appears that it doesn't really do very much at all for their viability. I think the Silver and B buffs were like okay. They were okay, but that's a 50-50. It's literally a 50-50, right? The Ellen buffs were dog shit. The Sandby buffs were like just okay. That's a 50% success ratio on the buffs. So that's the level of confidence you can have, right? In whether or not these standard characters are going to be fixed. I don't really have that much. Because guess what, guys? They're standard characters. And the thing is, buffing a limited character, right? Which can actually make you some money, because I'm pretty sure those buffs to Sandby and Ellen might have influenced at least a couple of banner pulls. The standard characters, they don't have that level of pull. They don't contribute that level of, like, revenue. And so, I don't really know how much confidence I have in these developers actually putting in good changes to several kits in the game. I know, for example, right, Grace is dog shit. Grace is fucking dog shit in this game. I know another example. Who else? Soldier 11 is also dog shit in this game. I think some could even say that Rena doesn't have that much use because of all the crazy new supports that have come out. And so, who knows, right? I think the only standard character that actually gets used right now is Lycon, because he's with Hugo. But then they made Hugo a piece of shit, so Lycon's kind of fucking bad too. I don't really know. Okay, we'll just have to see. Maybe they'll pull a rabbit out of the hat and perform some goddamn magic over here. But I'm not really that confident. All right, let's keep reading. Increasing ease of gameplay. Oh, welcome aboard, everyone. Old veterans or fresh new faces. We're all family here. We're always welcoming new friends by helping newcomers progress faster through the early game and making the game more accessible. They're desperate for new players. Is that... What do they mean? Are they, like, allowing, like, a speedrun feature where you'll just, like, skip through massive parts of the game and then, like, level up super fast? That seems odd to me. Like, I can get, like, a shortcut. Ah, I get it. They probably don't want to have a shortcut to 2.x because the 2.x story is dog shit. Maybe they're adding a way to fast forward the 2.x story. Because, like, I would actually suggest every ZZZ player plays 1.0 to, like, 1.4, and then they skip 2.x. That would be, like, my, like, you know how people suggest for Wuwa, you skip the 1.0 story, and then you, like, go to, like, 1.3, 1.4, and 2.0? In ZZZ, it's like, you play the 1.0 to 1.4 story, and then you skip the rest. That's, like, the optimal way to enjoy Zenless Zone Zero. So maybe they're incorporating that into the actual gameplay loop for newer players. So that's what they got for newer players. Once again, it's vague as shit. I can only speculate, but that's my speculation. Now we got veteran players. Veteran players, in version 2.4, Sweebian Temples Management welcomes a one-click AFK feature. Oh, so I guess this was dog shit. I guess this was trash. I guess nobody wanted to do this fucking lazy-ass, terrible fucking minigame, and they just decided to EOS it and add an auto button. Wow, who could have thought another chore? I guess it only took them 4 fucking versions to realize that this was a boring-ass chore that added nothing at all to the game. It only took 120 days. It only took them about half a year, yeah. Wow, this sounds like TVs. These devs just have a gigantic fucking ego. They think they know best when they add boring shit to the game that nobody wants to play. They get the feedback that it's boring as shit and complete ass. And then they wait on that feedback for 120 plus fucking days, or even like half a year. Wait until nobody plays the game, and then they remove the offending feature. This is why I cannot have a lot of confidence in any more relaunches. This is why I can't have any more confidence every time that there's a dev talk for this game. Because you can literally see the paper trail of all the times people have said, you are adding dog shit features to the game that are not fun. You are adding shit that takes a bunch of time that nobody wants to do. Please remove it. It would make the game better. And then they don't listen for over 100 fucking days. They wait until all the players leave, and then they remove the offending feature. You guys wonder why this game is dying. It's because these devs have the most insane ego in the space. They take so long to remove dog shit from the game, and it almost makes you wonder, why did they even add it in this dog shit state in the first place? You look at what TV's launched as, and you're just like, where did they even design this? You look at the Sweebian Temple, and you're just like, this is the most unfun thing I've ever played. How did it launch like this? And that's what you just have to wonder. What the fuck are these developers doing? How does this shit even make it into the game? And why does it take so fucking long for this shit to be removed? And until you know the answer to those questions, until somebody gets like fucking fired, until there's like an announcement, hey, we found out who was sabotaging Zenless Zone Zero since its launch. We found them out and we executed the guy in Minecraft, right? Until that occurs, who knows when the next Sweebian Temple will be? Who knows when the next TV is going to be? Because the Sweebian Temple was essentially the TV of 2.0. There's going to be another dog shit, lame-ass feature that they're going to add to the game that's going to be in line with TVs or the Sweebian Temple. You already fucking know it's going to happen. Just wait. It'll probably be in 3.0. So yeah, obviously a lot of pessimism over here. But how does this shit take until 2.4 when it was introduced into 2.0 to remove? How does it take this long? Nobody knows. But might be, hey, maybe this guy will tell us right now. Constantly innovating and constantly progressing. Just why are you lying? You're going backwards. The word that you use here is regressing. The word you use here is regressing. Because you are going backwards. 3.4K viewers at the peak for the release of a new character. I've never seen that before. Genuinely, I've never seen a 3.4K concurrent viewership in the category for a new character. That is down from 24K. Literally 1/8 of the previous viewership. How? Let's finish the statement from Y. Constantly innovating and constantly progressing. We're both creators and part of the player community. Welcome, everyone. Why does it feel like why does this statement read like it's the launch of the game? This is version 2.4. What the fuck do you mean, welcome, everyone? Huh? This reads like a launch live stream. Maybe, yeah, I guess this is confirmation that this is another soft relaunch. I guess that's just confirmation. This is actually the third one. But once again, it's so vague. All the details that are being shown in here, I don't really know what to even take slightly seriously from what I see going on. Like, half the changes are, we're going to be adding a bunch of cool shit. By the way, we're not going to tell you any details at all about the cool shit that we're adding. Just know that it's going to be cool. They're asking for so much confidence from the viewer, from the player, right? They're asking for so much benefit of the doubt. But right now, I feel like what the ZZZ community needed was shit that was actually concrete. A list of the characters, what the buffs are going to be, actual examples of the stuff that they're showing. Instead, it's just a bunch of words and it's just a bunch of promises. And when we're riding off of this past set of promises that absolutely did not even get slightly followed through with, you said you were gonna make combat feel better and then you added fucking miasma to the game. Brother, you don't have any more benefit of the doubt. There's a reason why there's no fucking players playing the game, there's nobody streaming the game, and there's nobody watching the game because it's all run out. So what business do you have putting this little detail and this much vague shit into this breakdown? What the fuck? Give us like actual stuff to look forward to, not just, yeah, everything's gonna be better. Everything's gonna be better, by the way. It's just, we're not gonna tell you how or what.
is being improved.
I was really looking forward to this. Right? I was really looking forward to this. I thought that this was actually going to be like some in-depth cool changes, but this to me just seems like more of the usual when it comes to ZZZ. And like I just kind of view this as like just one of the most inconsistent, like just one of the most like inconsistent, one of the, like the worst messaging. Like it's just I don't know, like part of this just feels like tone deaf. It just feels like literal talking. And when you have the Hoyoverse stigma, and when you've seen that this game has already gone through 2 relaunches, and when you've seen how like bad the management of the end game has been, they're like nerfing every anomaly character. They're like out of commissioning characters like Hugo within 2 months of their banner releasing. There's not a lot that inspires confidence in how this game is being run. And this developer talk, if you want to call it that, it's more like a developer fucking cliff notes with no details at all and no bullet points. It's just the headers, no explanation. This doesn't inspire much confidence either. So, yeah, maybe you guys will have a much more positive spin on this than I do. But when I've seen the game going downhill for so long, it is what it is, man. Hopefully they'll do something that brings it back. That'll be it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you all thought. Peace.